Hey, what's good? Peace, fight fans. Thanks for pressing play on another Bite Down boxing video brought to you by the Pay Me No Mind Sports and Entertainment YouTube channel. I'm the host of it all, Wood, and just checking in, trying to continue my, last night I did the 4 days in a wake up. Today is my thought for Spence versus Garcia, 3 days in a wake up. And thinking about rocking a little bit more at my lunchtime, just to have something, just to feel the day and be more consistent. But we'll get into that when it's ready. But I didn't want to make all of this whole fight completely about Spence's perspective and his strengths and his my expectations for him to dominate this fight. Obviously, Mikey is an accomplished guy. He's a formidable opponent. He's world class. He's pound for pound. He's a 4 division champion, which says more than enough. He did lose some time, based on his contractual issues and disputes with his former promoter in Top Rank. And, since he's come back, he's been trying to do big time things, box office things. And the advantages I mean, the one advantage that I can see is experience. And the fact that, he knew what he was getting into. He pushed for this fight. He I guess he liked how he performed at 140 against Adrian Broner and thought maybe, I could take it up another step. And in accomplishing something such as defeating a guy like an Errol Spence Jr., it solidifies what he wants to be, and that's something that's known as a great fighter, a great boxer. So he's amassed a great deal of experience. Obviously, I believe he's 39-0 now, versus the 20-something, 22 or whatever fights it is that Errol Spence Jr. has. So it just that's what he's bringing to the table. I don't think his power is going to be, a difference maker here. I don't know if his power is enough to fend off what I expect to be, an oncoming Spence Jr. So one thing that I kind of, an analogy that I was thinking of is, we've seen him dictate the action in these last couple fights. Easter Jr., the Broner fight, Lipinets, and then if you want to go back to Dejan Zlatichkinin, got to say that one a couple times. But he dictated all of that for the most part. And I think if he tries to do that here against Spence, that plays into Spence's hand. I think he needs to find space. I think with the volume that I would expect to come from Spence, I would think he needs to find moments to rest and definitely find a way to extend the fight and get to the latter half of the fight. So when he's dictating in previous fights, he's been an accurate puncher. His punches have knocked guys out or down. All of those guys went down with the exception of Adrian Broner. Of course, Zlatichkinin was out, period. He was flat out. Lipinets was badly hurt. Early knockdown against Easter Jr. But he's done well when he was firing those shots. And it kind of brought me to the analogy of, I don't know if you've seen the movie Glory with Matthew Broderick, Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, and maybe Carrie Elways might have been in there. But if you remember when they got the training out on the firing range, and if you know anything about Glory, that's when they started letting the freed slaves join the Union Army. And so during the preparation, of course, they got to go out and get familiar with the guns and start firing them. And one of the soldiers, the freed slaves, he was a pretty good shot. They found him out to be a pretty good shot. And they went to brag to to Matthew Broderick, who was the general or whatever. He was the leader, the captain of the 54th Regiment, I believe was what they were. And, they were casually shooting at the targets, and he was hitting them, casually reloading, and, he was a good shot. And Matthew Broderick was like, let me give you a realistic situation of what war is like. And so he says, load up, take aim. And then he pulls out his sidearm, his pistol, and starts firing it next to the soldier's head. And the guy fell apart. So he fired his shot. I think he missed it. And then he was like, reload. And then the guy was struggling to reload. And, he basically just panicked and fell apart. Didn't even, he dropped the weapon and, just looked really defeated. And that exposed him to what the real experience in combat is going to be. Versus you sitting here working at a level that is that's acceptable and that you're comfortable with. And I just liken that to the fact that Saturday night I expect the shots that will be coming back at Mikey Garcia is going to be stressful, and it's going to be enough to where he's not going to be comfortable to do what he's normally done. Now, we should expect Garcia to make some adjustments, of course, but I just don't think over the course of the fight, if it goes 12 rounds, just like with Wilder and Fury, when Wilder was like, I don't have to be perfect that much. I just got to be perfect in seconds. You got to be perfect for long stretches of time. And I think same thing applies here. The same thing applies here, that Garcia is going to have to be super sharp for all 36 minutes, if it goes 36 minutes. And that's just a lot to ask from any individual. And I think it's even more further complicated when you don't have enough firepower to back a guy up off of you and, curtail him pressuring you. And so that's kind of the checking in for, 3 days and a wake up is yes. Garcia's a good puncher, an accomplished offensive fighter. But him fighting back and returning fire under the fire that he's going to be under, I just foresee that being problematic for the kid on come Saturday night. So again, this is Wood, just checking in. Spence-Garcia, 3 days in a wake up. We'll see what 2 days in a wake up looks like. But I'm out. Peace.